come on in, get settled in. Let's see, let me make sure I've got everything going. I'm so excited you're here. How are you? I'm well. I'm so excited to join you today. I've had this on my heart over the last several weeks, and so I wanted to share it about your vision versus the world. I talk so often about our reality being defined by our belief system. And I've been on the other side where I've been the one that's needed to be convinced as I was coming up as a coach. And it can make sense in the moment when you're listening to someone and they've got lots of great points, but then you go off and you get into your life and reality, the world, seems so overpoweringly more real than any dream that we might hold in our heart or our head. And it seems more powerful than us, like it can crush us. Not only crush our dream that may feel like a fantasy in our head, but it can crush us. And that's what the world feels like. So excuse me. And it can be fun to imagine our dream and think about in the moment that if we just believe it enough, it will happen. But then we come up against the first obstacle and we put it to the side and we treat the obstacle as if it's reality, and we treat our dream as if it's the fantasy. But I would like to argue today that your vision is more powerful than the world. And I'm going to give you the key that you can apply in every area of your life and use this information to make what you want to happen, to imprint your dream onto the world. So let's dive in. The world, excuse me. Let's back it up here. Let's start with our vision, okay? So we have this thing, and we have this thing, this feeling, this vision within us. It's on our heart. We've had it for a very long time, and it presses on our heart. It's like a what if. It's quiet. And it's this what if that we hold in our heart. What if it could be like this? What if it could be different? What if I could have fill in the blank? What if things didn't have to be the way they are right now? And we hold this dream, and it feels unreal because we don't see any evidence in our present reality. We see perhaps the opposite of our dream, or obstacles or circumstances that look like they would preclude any ability for our dream to come to fruition. But I know our reality is created by our belief systems. How is that possible? We have something within our psyche called the reticular activating system. It's actually not just our psyche, it's a function of the brain, scientifically labeled the reticular activating system, or RAS, we can call it RAS, that its job in the body is to monitor and control the waking and sleeping system, and the conscious and the subconscious system. So controlling our flow between these conscious, unconscious states. Now, we know from any little study of psychology that these states, the sleeping, the waking state, is where our subconscious lays. That's the connection to our soul and to our greater spirit. We can start talking about the greater spirit, or the network between us, this quiet, silent network that we kind of all exist with each other. It's also could be our connection to God. And so we're getting into, so we have the physical state and the psyche, or the psychological state, and even the spiritual state as a connection here in the RAS, the reticular activating system. Now, the job of the reticular activating system is to filter out data. So at any 1 second, at any time, take this moment and freeze it like a photograph. Freeze. At that 1 second in time, you have millions, perhaps billions of points of data coming into your senses, through all 5 senses. That I argue even beyond the senses. So we have our 5 senses of touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing, sound. And then I'd argue our emotional senses. We feel what's going on with the people in our environment. We have a knowledge of past history about the people around us. So we understand, we can almost see their points of data when we're in a situation, or their points of data. And this becomes our points of data, billions of points of data coming in at any 1 second. How do we focus our attention? And this is how focus becomes so important in success principles. It's the difference between being totally distracted and laser focused on a path to success. The reticular activating system, its job is to filter all of this data that's coming into us and vying for our attention, and choose what it's going to take in and what it's going to leave out. So really, there is more that our reticular activating system is leaving out than it is taking in. And how does it filter? How does it know what to filter? Is it just random, like it chooses the first thing that comes into us? No. It chooses by our belief system. Whatever our belief system is what our reticular activating system picks out from the environment. This is also called confirmation bias, where we can find what it is we're looking for. It's the old adage that if you don't believe something can happen, it won't. So what that means, that's kind of revelational. That is a revelational idea. The reticular activating system is filtering the data coming into us by our belief system. That means if you change your belief system, the reticular activating system will find new data. It will collect new data. I believe this is how, and I've used this technique in the past of visualizing past events. I've had events, as we all do, where I look back in the past and I regret how it happened. Sometimes because of things that I did that led to whatever situation it was, and I don't have anything in particular in mind. And other times I regret how it happened, and it really had little to do with me. And I've gone back and used visualization in the past and visualized the past event happening in a way that I would have liked. And it seems fantastical in the moment, but I have seen evidence more and more that this replicates out through time, into the present and into the future. They say God has no time. God lives outside of time, and time is a human construct. So what if we could affect change through time, over time? All right, so coming back to our idea of our vision. This vision is built on a bed of our belief systems. If you change your belief system, any one belief, it replicates out into your reality. I've had instances where the belief is changed instantly in a revelation type event where I kind of get it and I see reality in a new way. And then I see change happen rather quickly. I've also seen where I've exerted force upon reality by over and over insisting on change through spoken affirmations, proclamations, prophesying, speaking out loud, and attacking my belief systems this way and allowing the belief systems to kind of bubble up and see them one at a time and let them go and just look at them and say, well, that's ridiculous, and let it go as unneeded. And that really is all you have to do with beliefs that you don't want. You just let them go and they come up, and maybe the same one comes up with deeper layers, but you just continue to let it go. But our vision sits here as what we want, put it to our heart. I believe by God. God put this vision in our heart. We want it because it is a part of our destiny. But it is upon us to make it happen. But we have this big world that stands in front of us as our obstacle, sometimes directly opposed to our manifesting this destiny. But the world, what is the world? Our vision is, I believe, more real than the world. I think the world is not real. The world is like money. It's a piece of paper, yes, in our real world. It is a piece of paper in our real world, or a digit in our bank account or on our statement. That is real. But the value of money is an agreed upon construct. Without our agreement, all of us together, money, the value of money would not exist. So yes, there is money in the real world. There's cash. There's the money in our bank account. Yes, I'm not arguing that. But the value of money is made up. It's an agreement that we all have. And in that way, I would argue the same for the world. Civilization is a set of rules upon which we all agree. Sometimes begrudgingly, but we all agree on these rules, and it's the system creates buildings, yes. It creates careers, yes. It creates, but the world itself is not real. It's a meeting of the minds. And then we all take from this world and go do our thing in the real, on the earth. Does that make sense? The world is not real. And in this way, we've seen how people can come in with a radical idea that just takes over the world in like a very short period of time. And it affects this immense change that ripples out. That's because the world is made of ideas, a collection of people together. Our ego, again, pulling from psychology, our ego is our identity in the world. So in this invisible place of the world, we have our ego, which is our identity, put as our contribution in the world. Our ego or our worldly identity may have little to do with our actually physical identity or space in the world. We could be projecting who we think we are onto this identity and have very little resemblance if we don't have a lot of authenticity. But our ego is, and actually the ego is a place for a lack of authenticity, because the more we become aligned with who we are and what we believe, the less we need an ego. The more our physical presence exerts power. in our surroundings and environment. This is why the local space where we live can be so fruitful, and the online space gets so scattered as ideas come up against idea. It's not person to person online when we're chatting on social or arguing on social. It's idea to idea. But in a physical space, we are person to person. So in this way, I would argue the world is not real. And these fears and doubts that we hold within ourselves that stop our vision, stop us from allowing our vision to come to life, almost like blooming like a flower. There's actually little we have to do but let it bloom with the right ingredients, by putting light on it, by watering it, by nurturing it. And our fear and doubt is like a darkness and drought. But that fear and doubt is all fed to us with images from the world. The idea of the image is rampant in the Bible. The image is the idol. And these images that come up in front of us are fed to us constantly through our phone or television, media. We have to be a strong filter for any idea coming to us saying, does this align with who I am? It doesn't matter if it's true or not, but does this align with who I am or who I want to be ultimately? And these images are placed in front of us, and these images cause fear and doubt. What are you afraid of today? This is not a rhetorical question. I'm not asking for you to comment here in the comments. This is a very personal question. What are you afraid of? What if it were not real? What if it was not real? And truly, most of our fears are invisible and dissipate and never come to fruition. But the state of living in fear can stop us from moving forward. So how do we use this key? We have our vision and we have the world. And if, say, we can just believe it here in this moment, what do we do if we erase the world and its power? What do we do then? We have our vision. The key is to place the image of our vision up in front of our focus more than the world. And this is why prayer and meditation and visualization is so powerful. And always directing our focus is so powerful, because we will follow the vision. Just like the person who throws the ball goes where we look. The ball doesn't go over there. So we follow where we look. So putting that vision, that image of our vision up in front of us, more powerful than the world, is the way that we will move towards that vision. It will also provide us epiphanies that will give us the right direction in one moment to shift and make changes that will bring us to our vision, ultimately, that blooms in front of us. Let's see. Any questions? Let me take a look and see if there are any questions. Let's see. Well, I can't really see. I don't really have a good setup here for questions. So if you have a question, of course, please put it in the comments and I'll ask it later, or reach out to me. Let's see if I can give you a way to do that. The easiest way would be to email me at hello@thinkbig.coach if you have any questions. And it's more personal in nature, please feel free to email me there. Otherwise, leave a comment and I'll answer it afterwards. But just so we can wrap it up here. Let me see if we check my time. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to wrap it up. So I hope this has been fruitful to help you in balancing your vision with the world and elevating your vision so that it is highest in your focus and allowing everything else to drop away, allowing it to get quieter and allowing your dream to get louder in your own focus. It will be so powerful in your ability to move forward. It will allow you to have moments where you feel that exhilaration of your dream coming to pass, even before it has come to pass, and relief from the fear and the doubt. And the more you practice this emotion of victory in your dream, the more and more you'll be able to shed the fear and the doubt. There will always be fear and the doubt vying for your attention, always. But you will get better at allowing it to fall away and allow your focus to come straight forward. I believe that life is about expansion, and that without any help from us, really, we can continually expand if we allow it to be. It is when we hold on tight and fight the process and listen to the world and all the cacophony of voices within it that we stop our progress, but it is us that stops it. The world doesn't stop you because the world doesn't exist. It's just a bunch of voices. Allow your voice to become the loudest in your life. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you next time.